Welcome to our weekly LEGO Star Wars Hoth video. Last week we added Obi-Wan's ghost, and this week we are working on the back of the trench. So let's get to it already.
Alright guys, so we are on Hoth. There has been tons and tons of progress done lately. Absolute amazing progress actually. And I mean, we've been adding in crazy minifigures. I mean, just look at this guy. He's looking really good. We've been doing tons and tons of mountain work and also tons of Greeble work.
Greeble.
Along the front side of the mountain. But there's been one spot in particular on the entirety of the LEGO Hoth MOC that's been really bothering me personally. I have a personal grudge against this spot. I wouldn't want this spot hanging out with my kids or your kids either. It's a bad influence.
Come out and take it, you dirty yellow-bellied rat, or I'll give it to you through the door.
And that, of course, is the backside of the trench. Because, I mean, just look at how disgustingly ugly this backside of the trench looks. Except for this spot right here. It's really just, cuts off abruptly. It's just that, it's just, it doesn't look good at all. We really need it to look like this so we have some sort of divot in between the trench and the mountains itself, and that will really even out the playing field here on Hoth and really give it that last extra piece to make it feel less like a in-progress MOC and more like a finished MOC, even though we're not quite done with it yet. But there's still these spots around that just, they really dig into your soul, and this is definitely one of them. And I mean, just take a look. Look at that. Oh, it's so rough. It's just, I can't take it anymore. So that's what we are going to be working on today. I know it's not one of the more exciting videos here, but we're not disfiguring a very rare-ish Lego figure here or putting down a custom one. We're just, doing the backside of the Greeble, but it's really gonna put this MOC together. I promise. It's a guarantee. It's an assistant guarantee. Now, name one time I've given an assistant guarantee. And I know we said that we were going to be working on the medical base here, but I really just cannot take looking at this edge anymore. I know the long-awaited medical base will come, don't worry. But for today, it's gonna be the back end of the trench.
All right, assistant. So I want to do a little explanation of what we're going to be doing here. All right, so the back of the trench here is actually going to be plates built up, and there's going to be a turret right here. This is just a prototype turret. This is way too big for the actual turret. And then as we move this way, we're going to take these out because this is the entrance deco base, and this is going to gradually go down. Over here, and this is what we're going to be working on today, is a second trench, a back trench. And I'm going to show a scene from the movie where you can kind of see it in the background. This is really where radar dish guns are as well. And then down towards that end, probably up on that hill, is where the other turret is going to be. So we're going to have two turrets, several radar guns, and then what we're doing today is a second trench right behind this one. And then, because we are running low on slope bricks, and really we don't want to use slope bricks here, these are going to be plates that connect this trench to this trench. Now the one thing I did notice is these trenches are pretty much at the same level, and there's really just guys with gear back there, but I want more troopers, and we got a lot more troopers coming. I actually did something crazy, assistant.
Oh geez.
Well, they had on a 30% off sale, the defensive Hoth sets are only $11.99 right now, so I bought 3 more of them.
Oh goodness, and that's the sets that come with all of these brown, newer looking Rebel troopers here. So we'll definitely have some variety. I do like, we do have a lot of the older style, but we only have one older style troop left. So I think, I'm glad we mixed in a ton of the older style ones, because I don't think their Bricks of Minifigure store has a ton of them left. We really kind of came in and bought them up, so.
We did.
So we're gonna have to figure that one out, is if we're gonna need to get our hands on more of the older style once we did, or just kind of swap some of the newer ones with the older ones. We'll figure it out.
That's true. We can do a swap-a-rooney. All right, so with that, right now we're gonna build a second trench behind this first one. And we'll get started on that. I don't know if we want to show like instructional, we'll show a little instructional.
Yeah, we'll definitely give you guys some sort of instruction on how to do this yourself if you're crazy enough to do something like this.
Exactly. And then we'll, you know, after we do brief instruction, we'll switch over to hyperlapse and finish the rest of it.
All right, then let's get going.
All right, so first things first, we have to build up to the second trench, which is what I'm doing here. So we're gonna have to blend up with some slope pieces. Has to be fairly tight in here because it's got to ramp up quickly, and it also has to ramp down on this side. So this is going to be interesting. All right, so you'll see we blended the trench up to the back side of this, and now we have to build up the side so we can just blend in with plates. And for those of you who don't know, we have a lot more plates than we do bricks. So I'm going to cut over to hyperlapse mode and blend this up and get a little mountain, side mountain here, which is going to be the back of the second trench. And one other thing to note before I cut over to hyperlapse is the back side of this second trench is going to be a lot lower than the front side. So kind of open air will make this trench lower. So let's cut over to hyperlapse mode, build up this part of the trench, and we'll be back. Here is a quick outline of the back trench. The wall edge of the trench will be right here, blending into the front trench. And one thing we have to decide, is this trench going to be more of like a maintenance trench, or is it actually going to be filled with some troopers shooting? Because if it is filled with troopers shooting, we don't want them to shoot the guys in front of them. That would be bad. So while we're figuring that out, let me cut back to hyperlapse mode and build up the back trench itself. All right, now we have to fill in the back of the trench that we took apart there, and it has to be a little lower because it's right at the exit of Echo Base where the speeders are going to be coming out. So let's go back to hyperlapse mode and finish the back of the trench that we tore open there a little bit. Okay, so let's fly down the entire length of the trench. And the last part we have to do, which we will do in a future episode, is this back of the trench, where we're going to build a little platform for one of the two turret guns. Just a prototype, too big. We're going to be building these pretty soon, though. All right, there's one last thing we have to do. We have to fill this part of the trench with some Greeble, so we can have more rebel troopers either back there firing or working on the equipment. So let's lay some Greeble. Greeble, Greeble. All right, well there is the trench trodden upon Greeble. I guess I should call it second trench or the backup trench. And there's a little entranceway so the folks can get in and out of the trench, the rebel troopers, rebel Hoth troopers. And also there was a cut into the main trench. So a little features, but speaking of features, speaking of Greeble, there's something missing. We don't have any of the wires, of little boxes, or any of that stuff. And I know we were kind of waiting for the turrets and the radar guns, but we are going to put a couple of pieces of real Greeble, real meaningless little tchotchkes and equipment onto the trench because it's just missing. It's still a lot of white, and I know we have some guys and a dead guy, but let's put some more non-trodden Greeble on this part of the MOC. All right, the first piece of Greeble is going to be a box for not only the turrets, but these Rebel Trooper minigun type deals. I'm gonna call it a power or ammunition box for Hoth Trooper guns. All right, so pretty simple design. It's very similar to the, I think they were heater units, or I called them heater units, in our Echo base. Here's a picture of them. So very similar, but these are all in black as they are pictured in the movie. These are tied with hoses to the various guns and turrets and things out in the field of battle. So on the one side, on the bottom, I do have an open stud, so we can plug in a hose of various sizes. And then, and the bottom is left open so it can be mounted. And then the last thing is to put the vent plates on. Both sides. Here is an example of it plugged into the minigun. All right, and I built 4 of these. That's pretty much, I think, all we're going to need in the trenches. And I'm going to lay those down in just a minute into the trench near this fella here and elsewhere. And now the second piece are, I'm just going to call them the white equipment boxes that they have laying around out in the trenches, getting ready for the battle against the AT-ATs. Here's a picture of them in the scene, and then I'll show you how I'm going to construct them. All right, so let me lay out my defensive Hoth packs. Little crates, some sort of power crate. And now I'm going to make the longer, whiter version of it. And I did make a variant of this with the handle down. Since it's a little briefcase, the handle up and the handle down. And I made 6 of these to put on the board, along with the 4 ammo packs, I guess you'd call them, for the guns, and 6 of the defensive Hoth packs. So let's put these guys on the board. All right, first things first, I'm going to give this guy a little ammo pack. And you have to make sure it's in the right position so I can hook it up to his gun. There we go. Now, as we move down the trench, I am going to put a few of the boxes just outside the trench here. Hopefully they don't look like they're just blended in with the snow. Put one up there. And this is whereabouts one of the radar dish guns is going to go, so I'm going to stick one of the power boxes there. Okay, in the new trench area, for now I'm just going to put a couple of these boxes. They'll probably be carried by guys pretty soon. And there's going to be another radar dish. Put a power pack there. Also in the new trench, I figured these guys would be cold, so I gave them a thermal heater to put in the trench. Put a couple of cases along there. There. Put a case there. One of the little crate boxes. All right, and down towards the end of the trench, we know we are going to be building up a turret area. So for now, I'm just going to stick a couple of boxes right here for the time being, and I'll put the last power pack box right along there. And we know there's going to be various hoses around connected to the different guns and dishes. For now, I'm just going to put this one hose in addition to the one we have down there next to the gun just to give an idea that we are going to have black hoses running throughout the trenches just like in the film. All right, so let's move down the trench and see all the Greeble we placed. And I guess we should say trenches, since we have the new second trench. So I think that is going to do it for the build portion of the video. Now it is time to put some minifigures down. So surprise, surprise, the minifigures for this week are more Hoth troopers. So we're going to be putting down these 3 troopers, 2 ladies and a fella. And I don't think these guys, as I just knock them over, I don't think these 3 are going to be carrying any guns, because they're going to be messing with our new Greeble we just put down. Greeble. Alright, so we're going to put 2 minifigures in our brand new trench. First one is going to be this Rebel Trooper, a lady. She is carrying one of the boxes. Alright, the other fella is also going to be in that trench. And he is basically fiddling with our other new piece of Greeble, as you can see. And I thought the third trooper, they always have these guys seeming to fiddle around with the various boxes and things that they've laying around. So I'm going to put this lady next to this ammo or power crate for this gun. So she's going to be there. And that is not all. I think it is time for another trooper, unfortunately, to bite the dust. We wouldn't only have one dead guy. So I think this time we're going to have one of our troopers of the line have fallen tragically in battle. And I think it's going to be this guy. He's just going to be in mid-fall like, I've been shot, Alright, so let's take one last pan of the trench. See all the fellas, the new Greeble, and the ladies. There are some female Hoth troopers. So that is going to do it for this week. We hope you liked the video. Stay tuned every Friday for a new Hoth episode. And on Wednesday, we have our Wacky Wednesday videos. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe. And if you really like the content here and want a lot more, you can always join and become a member of Lobricks. We will see you guys in the next one. I am Leaky Trooper. I am out of here. Bye.